Some of you may know or may not know that I just came back from my Europe trip a few weeks ago, and I think it's a pretty good idea to share with you guys like how I usually plan my trips. So this video is gonna be very long and I will break it into two parts. The first video is going to be my best tips, not to share best tips, but it's my personal tips on how you book a flight, accommodations, and budgetings, and some important things that you should know before you go for your trips. And the second video is going to more about researching and planning your itinerary, figuring out your transportations, food, phone, your internet, and all those fun stuff. For your information, these tips are based on my personal experience, and I can't claim that myself is a kind of expert traveler, but I can say I used to travel more often as compared to my friends. I did a lot of research, I put a lot of effort, and I made a lot of mistakes as well. So if you don't find my tips are useful to you, please do not judge or leave me a negative comments, because this is purely my own experience. I used to blog about how to travel 3 months in Europe countries a few years ago, and I do receive some negative comments such as, your mom pay for that, your boyfriend is sponsoring you must be coming from a rich family. What? Which I don't think that sounds good. So let's get to the point. My flight to Switzerland this time was only 2,200. It was really so cheap as compared to my previous year. I went to Paris, London, and the flight is about 3,300. So this time I took a train to Paris with just 170, and the trains to London cost me about 400. So a total of 3,100 is still so cheap as compared to 3,300. So there's a few tips that you can actually find of cheaper tickets, like sign up for newsletter and turn on notification for those travel websites who frequently post for the travel deals and tips like mine. So don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel, okay? So my personal favorite travel website is like Spice Travel, Lost Blank, Funny Trips, and there's many more. So you can find your own preference, and you just have to click on the notifications to turn on, and you will get notified when they have special deals. The second tip is you should be flexible on your travel days. Like for example, if you travel on weekdays such as Tuesday and Wednesday, the flight is gonna be so cheap as compared to Saturday and Sunday. Or maybe you can travel early in the morning, and you can easily find a very cheap air ticket. So I usually check my flight ticket on Traveloka or Skyscanner. The reason why I love Traveloka so much because it has this kind of monthly view flight prices. So you can play around with other dates, as you can see. Just look out for whatever option is cheapest and what suits you best. This monthly view gives you an idea when the price range is cheaper. I found a secret. When I was searching my flight from Switzerland to London separately in Expedia.com and Expedia.uk, the prices were totally different. So I was like so curious, why is this happening? Like from a place to another destinations which are totally same, but the price are different. So I asked a friend of mine, Josh Cahill. He's a YouTuber innovation. Subscribe him if you haven't yet. He told me because different countries we have different of Expedias, and the charges, taxes are totally different. This time I was using Expedia.uk to book my flight to London, and I get cheaper deals. So one more tip for you, if you go by train during weekdays, the ticket is so much cheaper, and you can enjoy the journey without a lot of tourists inside the train because it's weekdays, people have to work. To book a train, you can either browse your ticket in Expedia or Omio. I definitely love using Omio because it is more user-friendly and allow you to find the cheapest, the fastest, and the best travel options to travel in Europe. I found a great deal. So I got my train ticket to Paris, which was only 171, and to London 441, like so cheap. You can also change your currency, but I was paying it with Euro because it is cheaper and compared to Malaysia Ringgit. Okay, let's moving on to the transportations. From Switzerland to London or Paris, would you pick a train or you pick a flight? Most of the people, they might choose flight because it is so much convenience, and this time I took a train to Paris. The reason I choose a train instead of a flight because I don't have to reach airport 2 hours earlier for the boarding, and I'm not really a morning person. I can't really wake up. One more reason is because, oh yeah, for information, the flight is usually cheaper in the morning, so it must be a peak hour for people to go to work and you might stuck in the jam. To save the hassles, I will just choose a train. And if you take a train, the train station is usually located in a city, it's maybe within walking distance, or you can reach by public transport. And the most important thing is you don't have to pay for extra baggage fees. You can take as much bags as you want, but I will still suggest you to pack light. For accommodation wise, you can go for Airbnb, hostels for cheaper options. But this time I tried couchsurfing for the first time, and I would say it was a really good experience because I've been staying in some random stranger's house and it's totally free, no hidden costs, no charges, and I get to sleep in my own private room. Exactly like no different with Airbnbs, it's just that I don't have to pay. One good thing about couchsurfing is that you get to choose your host before you stay. Like for example, if you need a private space with your own privacy, it's totally possible because you get the filter and then you tick the options that you want, and then you might get a free room on your own. But it's still up to the room availability. And some hosts are so kind that they also offer you a free ride to the city, or they might offer you some dinner. It's totally don't have to pay, so you can save a lot of money. No, I never regret of doing this. But anyway, today I'm not going details on this part, so if you would love to know more how I stay free in Switzerland, stay tuned on my next video. I will leave it to the next video for details explanations on that. So back to Switzerland, the accommodations in Switzerland is so expensive. I'm not kidding. You have to pay for like 300 just for hostel backpackers, a bed like double-deckers, and if you would like to get a room in the city, it might probably cost you around 400 to 500. I can say it's really so pricey. We can't even afford them. For the Airbnb, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, some do charge a very high cleaning fees. I call them as hidden charges. Let me show you an example. Like you browse this website and you saw the room price at around 300, but this is not the final price until you click to the payment, and you will see the price is higher after including the cleaning fees. So that's one time I thought my room was so cheap. I made my payment without further checking until I saw the cleaning fees appears after the payment. Like I almost passed out. So my advice is you can get a nice and big room in the outskirts if you don't mind traveling, or you can book an Airbnb earlier if you are looking for a way to save your money. But if you travel solo, you might consider to stay in the hostel and sharing a bed with other people. But I would say couchsurfing is the best because you don't have to pay. Another way to save your accommodation is to stay overnight in the airport. Look, I didn't plan for this. I did a mistake. I booked the wrong flight and the flight transition is 10 hours long. Guess what? I only realized when the days come and it was too late for me to get a room nearby the airport. So yeah, I had a night in the airport. Like, can you imagine that? But that's the way that I discovered is one of the way that you can help to save your money. Alright, so this is what for today, and I hope you guys enjoy the videos. But keep an eye on my next video because I'll be sharing more about the couchsurfing, like how you download the apps, how you reach your host, how to get a free accommodations, and more things about it. So if you are actually planning a trip, you can always check my highlights on my Instagrams on those places and attractions. So lastly, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channels and follow me on Instagram. I will see you on next video.